In this quest, we will talk about variables with exponents and how to multiply and divide them. What is a variable with an exponent? A variable is a symbol for a number we don't know yet. It is usually a letter like x or y. An exponent, such as the 2 in x squared, says how many times to use the variable in a multiplication. For example, we have y squared, and that is equal to y times y. And this form means y multiplied by y. Because in algebra, putting two letters next to each other means to multiply them. Likewise, z cubed is equal to z times z times z. And x to the fifth power is equal to x times x times x times x times x. Moving on, we have exponents of 1 and 0. When the exponent is 1, we just have the variable itself. For example, we have x raised to 1, that is x. We usually don't write the 1, but it sometimes helps to remember that x is also x raised to 1. And when the exponent is 0, we are not multiplying by anything and the answer is just 1. For example, y raised to 0 is equal to 1. Furthermore, in multiplying variables with exponents, how do we multiply this? So we have y squared times y cubed. We know that y squared is equal to y times y, and y cubed is equal to y times y times y. So let us write out all the multiplies. That is 5y's multiplied together. So the new exponent must be 5. So we have y raised to 5. But why count the y's when the exponent already tells us how many? The exponent tells us there are 2y's multiplied by 3y's for a total of 5y's. So the simplest method is to just add the exponent. Just like this, y squared times y cubed is equal to y raised to 2 plus 3, and that is equal to y raised to 5. Let us take note that this is one of the laws of exponents. In this case, when we have a mix of variables, just add up the exponents for each, like this. If we have this given, we will just add the exponents of the same variable. So we have x cubed times x squared, that is x raised to 3 plus 2. Y raised to 5 times y, that is y raised to 5 plus 1. And last but not the least, z. Z is just 1, raised to 1. And now, when we simplify the exponents, we have x raised to 3 plus 2, that is x raised to 5. Then y raised to 5 plus 1, that is y raised to 6. And the z will remain. Let us remember that a variable without an exponent really has an exponent of 1. For example, y is y raised to 1. Now in this case, there will often be constants, numbers like this, mixed in as well. Never fear. Just multiply the constant separately and put the result in the answer. In our given, the quantity of 2xy times 4y, first multiply the constant. So we have 2 times 4, and then we rewrite the variables. And now we simplify the constant, so 2 times 4, that is 8, and then x will remain. Then y times y, that will become y squared. So the final answer in this given is 8xy squared. We need to take note that this symbol means multiply, which we use when this symbol might be confused with the letter x. Here is a more complicated example with constants and exponents. So we have 3x squared y squared times 4x squared. Now, we multiply first the constant. So, we have 3 times 4, followed by the variable x. X squared times x squared is x raised to 2 plus 2, and then the y squared. And then when we multiply 3 times 4, that is 12, and then we add the exponents for the x. We have x raised to 4, then y squared will remain. And that is the final solution in this example. Moving forward, negative exponents mean dividing. So we have this form, x raised to negative 1 is equal to 1 over x raised to negative 2 is equal to 1 over x squared, x raised to negative 3 is equal to 1 over x cubed, etc. Get familiar with this idea. It is very important and very useful for the next part. In dividing, how do we do this? Y raised to 3 divided by y squared. First, let us write out all the multiplies. So we have y times y over y times y. Now, we remove any matching y's that are both top and bottom because y over y is equal to 1 and we are left with y. So the 3 y's above the line get reduced by 2 y's below the line, leaving only 1 y. Or we could have done it like this. Y cubed over y squared is equal to y times y over y times y. And that is equal to y raised to 3 minus 2. And 3 minus 2 is 1. So we have y raised to 1. And y raised to 1 is equal to y only. So just subtract the exponents of the variables we are dividing by. Here is the bigger demonstration involving several variables. Let me read the example. So we have x cubed times y times z squared divided by x times y squared times z squared. First, we divide the same variables and subtract the exponents. In this case, we have x cubed divided by x. So we have x raised to 3 minus 1. And then moving on, we have y divided by y squared. Then we have y raised to 1 minus 2. And last but not the least, we have z squared divided by z squared. And since they have the same exponents, z raised to 2 minus 2. And we simplify the exponents in this given. So for the x, we have 3 minus 1, that is x raised to 2. Y raised to 1 minus 2, we have y raised to negative 1. And z raised to 2 minus 2 will left us 0. And when we simplify them, so x squared will remain in the numerator and y raised to negative 1, since the exponent is negative, we get the reciprocal and it will become the denominator. And z raised to 0 is equal to 1 and there's no need to write the 1 in this case. So the final answer would be x raised to 2 over y. The z's got completely cancelled out, which makes sense because z squared divided by z squared is equal to 1. To see what is going on, write down all the multiplies, then cross out the variables that are both top and bottom. Take time to look at this different way. But once again, why count the variables when the exponents tells you how many? Once you get confident, you can do the whole thing quite quickly in place like this. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Hope you observed the skills you need in variables with exponents and how to multiply and divide them. See you in our next quest.